Chapter 4 Summary. The chapter is presenting information various types of the antenna of the information file with the summarized important parts of the chapter. Antenna of the conductor summarized system of the conductor radiator the receiver the energy form of the electromagnetic waves. Hertz is a half-wave, macron is a four-quarter wave, the two basic classification antennas. Reciprocity is the antenna means the various properties of the antenna you make apply equal or transmitting receiving. Minimum radiation, minimum reception, maximum reception. Radiation resistance amount of the resistance at which the inserted blade for the antenna would we consume with the same amount of the power actually radiated by the antenna. Radiation patterns can be applied with a rectangular polar coordinate. These patterns measure the energy level in an antenna. Isotrophic radiator radius and energy equal in all directions. Anisotrophic radiator radiates energy directionally. A loop, an area of the radiation pattern with the covered by the radiation. A null, an area radiation pattern, minimum radiation. Noob, null, loop, null, noob. Antenna loading. The method used to change with the electrical length of the antenna. This keeps the antenna resonancy with the applied frequency accomplished in turning the variable inductor with the capacitor and series of the antenna. Loading to compensate short with the antenna. Loading to compensate with the long, compensate for too long of an antenna. Normal antenna without loading. Half-wave of the antenna consists of the two length of the rod and tubing either quarter wave and long with a certain frequency with the rays the donut pattern. Antenna inside, quarter wave of the antenna, the half wave, the antenna with the cut, and the half wave at the one end of the ground with the ground furnished with the mishalving end of the antenna, quarter wave of the antenna, image antenna, ground screen and counterpole, the U for the reduce the loft and cut off the ground immediate vicinity of the antenna, ground screen is buried below the surface of the earth, the counterpole is installed above the ground. For the ground screen are two transmitter antenna counterpoles. The folded dipole consists of the dipole radiator which connect with the parallel end of the half-wave radiator. Ordinary pole folded dipole. An array combination of half-wave elements operating with the together a single antenna and provides more gain with the greater directivity of single element antenna driven array derived of the proper power directly from the source. Parasitic array derive the power coupling with the energy from the elements other than the antenna. Bidirectional array radiates energy equal in two opposite directions. On a unidirectional radiates efficiently in a single direction. Collinear array has elements in a straight line. Maximum radiation occurs at right angles to the line. Broad array has elements of parallel in the same line with maximum radiation develops in plane at right angle to the plane elements. The end-fire array has elements parallel to each other in the same plane. Maximum radiation occurs along the axis of the arrays. Matching stubs are used between the elements to maintain current of the proper phase. Gaining collinear antenna is greater than the elements placed with them 0.4 to 0.5 wavelengths apart. The number of the elements is increased. Optimum gain broadside range is obtained and with the element spaced 0.65 wavelengths apart. Parasitic arrays consist of one or more elements. The elements driven out elements amount of the power gain directly dependent on the length over the parasitic element spacing and path between them. Multi-elements rates such as Yagi, narrow frequency response as well as the narrow beam with long wire antenna is a wavelength more long than the operation frequency antenna. The direct pattern is sharply both the horizontal and vertical planes. Beverage antennas consist of a single wire that is two more wavelengths long. Your V antenna is the transmitter terminating resistor. V antenna is a bidirectional antenna consisting of two horizontal long wires that indicate the form of V. Rhombic antenna is a four conductors joined with the rhombus shape. The antenna has a wide frequency with the easy construction maintained non-critical as far as the operation and adjustments are concerned. Transmission line support pole, insulator, terminator, resistor. Turnstile antenna is a consists of two horizontal, half wire antenna mounted at the right angle of each other. And that was chapter 4 summary, and that's the end of your non-resident training course, September 1998, Navy Electricity Electronic Training Series, Module 10, Introduction Wave Propagation Transmission Line Antenna, NAVED TRA 14182, approved for distribution, public release, distribution unlimited.